Are you aware that simply going to a lake can result in your death? You might think it's because you drowned, got bitten by a hungry animal, or swallowed something deadly. But this isn't the case. What's shocking is that the cause of your death might be the air you breathe. You will die even before you realize it. The air might kill you in a couple of seconds the moment you inhale it. You'll die in silence, but with absolutely excruciating pain. If you were in the wrong lake at the wrong time, this could absolutely happen to you. Are you beginning to wonder which lake this is? Today, I'm going to tell you about the lake that is considered one of the world's most dangerous destinations. Here, you'll discover how a simple lake can wipe out entire villages and what dangers anyone had to face when they come close to it. Are you now ready? Then let's get this started. The lake I'm talking about is Lake Nyos. Even though the temperature is high, the water in the vast lake is cool. It appears to be serene, as if nothing bad could happen. However, the color of the quiet lake can change at any time. What's more alarming is that the water may retreat from the coast, as it does when a tsunami is approaching. The water will turn practically red after that. The lake will then erupt as if it is a massive bubble. Because of that, the sound of a huge crash will follow. When you're in this lake and something like this happens, you will lose consciousness and then die instantly, before you even understand what's happening. You won't notice all of these unusual scenarios if you happen to be a little further away from this lake. You'll only be able to hear the explosion as well as may smell gunpowder or rotting eggs. And because you inhale the air, you'll get a severe case of vertigo, causing you to sit up. However, this will be followed by an excruciating headache that will make walking quite difficult. Your mind will not function properly, and you will be very confused. You will be unable to breathe normally. You'll probably hear yourself breathing heavily, coughing will suffocate you, and the burning pain in your eyes and nose will make you cry. However, you'll be so weak that even if you want to wipe your tears, it would be practically impossible. You won't be able to manage your movements, thus controlling your hands would not be possible, and soon you'll lose consciousness, fall into a coma, and die. But what really is happening at Lake Nyos? The calamity is called the limnic eruption, an extremely unusual natural calamity on Earth. Limnic eruption happens when carbon dioxide comes out from an open reservoir. This unusual natural calamity has been documented only twice in recent history. The first eruption was on Lake Monoun in Cameroon in 1984. In the case of Lake Monoun, a cloud of carbon dioxide leaked from the reservoir around 10:30 p.m., which extended and filled the valley near the road. People from the surrounding village went out of their houses early in the morning and walked on the same road where there is a cloud of carbon dioxide. The moment they walked into it, they died instantly. This incident led to the death of 37 people. The second eruption occurred 2 years later, on August 21, 1986, on Lake Nyos. Despite the similarity with the first eruption, it's still even more deadly. There were 3,500 cattle and 1,746 people that were killed in this incident. No one has ever anticipated this kind of catastrophe for humankind. What could be the reason behind this disastrous gas release? Well, even experts do not know the exact answer. Most scientists, including those from Cameroon, can only assume a landslide would have caused the release of carbon dioxide to the surface. However, another explanation arises. According to the report, the calamity may be triggered by a tiny volcanic eruption at the lake's bottom. However, if this theory is correct, the trigger may have been a simple rain or a particularly strong wind, but clearly that isn't what happened. It's difficult to say what exactly caused the tragic event. This phenomenon can be compared to how a bottle of soda reacts when shaken. Let's pretend that the bottle is submerged at a depth of more than 200 meters, or 700 feet in this analogy. Assume the liquid inside the bottle is 5 times the carbonation of a standard soda. There would undoubtedly be a burst of gases when it explodes. The lake changed its hue as a result of the gas release and the oxidation of iron in the water. It turns crimson. Furthermore, a roughly 100-meter or 300-foot column of water and foam will be produced on the surface, triggering a massive wave of around 25 meters or 82 feet tall. This wave will then crash against the shore, making everything in its way shattered. This event would have carbon dioxide emissions of about 100 to 300,000 tons. However, according to other accounts, more than 1.5 million tons of carbon dioxide were released in just 20 seconds. The cloud of carbon dioxide would envelop the whole place and then would move down the valleys at a pace of more than 100 kilometers or more than 60 miles per hour. This is due to the density of carbon dioxide being 1.5 times that of air. People on the street who come into contact with carbon dioxide clouds will lose consciousness and become paralyzed in a matter of seconds. People in the affected areas may faint and die in an instant after taking a few breaths of the poisonous air. Those who are sleeping when this catastrophe occurs are unlikely to survive and are likely to suffocate while sleeping. People who are awake and interested in the source of the unusual smell and decide to leave their homes will also suffer a huge tragedy. The smell of sulfur is frequently associated with carbon dioxide toxicity. However, as soon as someone opens the door and looks for the smell outside, they are likely to die on the spot. All except 4 residents of Nyos and Kam, the first villages to be attacked by the gas, were killed at the same time, even if they were on high ground. People and livestock within 25 kilometers or 15 miles of the lake have died out of suffocation. Some sources even say that carbon dioxide poisoned birds and insects. This event is a horrifying image of genocide, a way of nature expressing its wrath. However, the question is, could something similar happen again? Well, experts claim that there is a chance. What's worse is that you won't be able to save yourself from the suffocating gas by hiding, climbing high, or running, because it spreads at extreme speeds. Lake Nyos is now being monitored by scientists. There are still people living in the area who could be exposed to new carbon dioxide explosions. Since there are still people living in the area who could be exposed to a new carbon dioxide explosion, certain people thought of techniques to avoid the calamity. This includes the scientist Michael Halbwachs, who proposed the installation of degassing columns in 1995, which employ a pump to lift carbon dioxide saturated water. Degassing, on the other hand, does not eliminate all of the issues. One of these issues is that degassing couldn't prevent the natural wall of volcanic rock from breaking. According to geologist Isaac Nilla of the University of Yaoundé, the geological wall of volcanic rock that keeps the waters of the lake from spilling has the possibility of collapsing in the near future. If this happens, up to 1 million cubic meters of water or 2 billion cubic feet could flow out, drowning Nigeria's Tabara and Benue states. Nilla added that this could occur during the next 10 to 20 years. So what happens if the barrier that keeps the water in breaks? The lake will drop at least 40 meters or 131 feet. This will significantly reduce the pressure on the gas in deep water, making the waters escape once more. The two natural disasters could happen at the same time. Flooding and the release of toxic gas might occur simultaneously, putting people in danger. The worst part is that there are other lakes like this, other than the ones I've mentioned earlier. What's even more shocking is that Lake Monoun and Lake Nyos aren't the only deadly lakes in Africa. Following the disaster in Lake Nyos, which killed over 2,000 people, experts began looking into other reservoirs. They wanted to determine whether there are other lakes where something similar could occur, as well as whether they could avoid it. Lake Kivu was discovered to be hazardous as a result of the research. The lake could be found between Rwanda and the Republic of the Congo, with an area of around 2,700 kilometers, or 1,400 square miles. Kivu is considered Africa's 8th largest lake. However, this massive lake is another deadly lake. Geologists have discovered that there are signs of widespread extinction around Kivu, happening every 1,000 years or so. And gas emissions are likely to blame for the death of all living organisms within the immediate area. It's worthy to note that Lake Kivu is 2,000 times larger than Nyos and has 65 cubic kilometers or 15.5 cubic miles of methane and 256 cubic kilometers or 65 cubic miles of carbon dioxide in its water. Scientists are unsure when Lake Kivu last exploded or whether another calamity could erupt very soon. However, if it will erupt, the impact of the release of gases could be greater than the combined disasters of Lake Monoun and Lake Nyos. According to scientists, the eruption could kill around 2 million people living near Kivu. According to scientists, the eruption could kill around 2 million people living near Kivu. After all this information, I'm not scaring you and claiming that if you're near these lakes, you're on the verge of dying. I'm not the person to say that. I'm just a science enthusiast. In any case, I'd rather test in a different body of water. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Please click the bell icon so you'll be notified when new videos are posted. And as always, thanks for watching Ponder This.